Welcome to another episode of Director's Commentary. Today we have a very special guest who has honestly been one of the coolest journeys to watch over the last not even a year, but a little over half a year now that Crystal's been going from author to movie maker and still a writer and still an author. Uh, we actually met once in LA for a lunch or dinner. It was dinner. It was early dinner, and it was great. And
Mhm.
Crystal is not only super sweet, but I think you've been like genuinely fearless in diving into this because there's been so many moments with us where it's been like, wow, it's like the text early. You're just like here with us. We're like, oh my god, like we're gonna figure this out together. And this all culminated in recently Crystal winning one of the top prizes for the movie machine madness competition we did. She won a bunch of coins, and I because seeing a little bit behind the scenes, you were pouring your heart into it, and again, you did fantastic. And I'd love to dive
Thank you.
into just before we even get to your AI filmmaking journey. How did you get started writing stories and actually publishing your books?
Well, I mean, ever since I was a little girl, I love to tell stories, but I didn't get into actual writing until high school, like my very first year of high school, my freshman year. And it started with fan fiction. That's how it started. And that's what helped me a lot. I'm really grateful to fan fiction because you already get a set of characters you can work with. It's almost like I don't wanna call it cheating, okay, but in a way, like, it gives you this big framework on how to tell a story, and I already had my own original stuff, but I was more scared to write my original stuff. When it came to fan fiction, it was easier, because it's like I already have these people that I could use and all that stuff, right? And I've been doing it since then, and, I'm in my early 30s now, so, the journey's been, like, a lot, and it's been, like there's been times where I've never been able to finish all my stories, but a couple years ago in 2023, like, I wrote a whole novel series in a year, right? And this was
Whoa,
without AI. This
yeah.
was, like, before ChatGPT could, I don't know, write a little, like, fortune cookie telling or something because it was terrible, I think. I don't even know if it existed at that point when I was writing it, but anyway, um, yeah, I wrote the whole thing in less than in like a year, like to the day. It was like Christmas Eve when I wrote this story, and it's like it's called You Fight Like a Girl. It's about a young gay man who joins an all girls fight club, right? And it was supposed to be short, and it turned into like 5 novels worth as I was writing it,
This is
and
how it
that's kind
starts.
of
That's how you know it's good. It starts off small, then it turns into a whole world.
exactly. It turned into a whole freaking universe. I'm not even kidding. And it's like, it happens with me a lot. And the reason why I wanted it to be short is because I was worried I wouldn't finish it. But I finished it. It's the longest piece I have finished so far in my life. It's like 500,000 words. Yeah. So it's
That's
like half
that's
a
a
million
that's a
words.
shelf. That's a shelf right there.
Really?
That's almost a bookshelf. That's quite meaty. That's awesome.
No, thank you. Yeah. And I was really proud of myself for finishing it. And then I was like, let me turn it into an original novel. So yeah, like I went on Amazon and I did like a whole pre-order thing. I kind of followed your advice a little bit, like putting it on pre-order, see if people get interested in it and stuff. And I've had a few pre-orders, which was nice. That wasn't from family members, okay, which
Nice.
was
Yeah.
nice. And then for A Man's Fight right here, this one's fully published. You Fight Like a Girl, I'm still editing it. The whole thing's written, I just need to edit it. But this one's a lot shorter of a story. This one is like um like based off of it. It's what if Patrick, the main guy, did not join the girls' fight club, but instead joined an illegal underground fighting ring and falls in love with the champion. So that's basically what happens there.
Oh, wow. The alternate I love it. Uh, First of all, if you aren't watching the version on YouTube, you should go to YouTube because Crystal's background is next level, best guest background I've ever seen. It's actually beautiful. And not only is the curtain like this beautiful bright red, but it's also color coded with the covers of her book. So she's on point is all I have to say. You should go check out. the YouTube channel and see it. And what I found so interesting about your approach to this all from the beginning was you were thinking about this not just like, okay, I want to go make AI films. You were like, how can I create an experience for my readers that immerses them deeper in the books itself? I remember the interview series you were doing. That was fun.
Mhm. Yeah, I know that one was interesting. I put myself into it, which was neat. I might try
Yeah.
something different though. I might try something a little different where it's my live action self and we can just cut to the AI characters. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
That's something
Yeah.
I want to try. That's something I really wanted to try soon, and so I might use it for that instead. Just because for some reason the movie machine, like for the AI characters, it was fine. For me, for my AI character, it was really janky. So I was just like, dang, what happened? And I don't know if it's just not that good with putting real people in there at the time anyway. I think it's better now. But I might
Yeah.
try the live action thing instead because I have seen people do that. And I was like, I want to do that. That looks really cool, you know?
Ironically, some of the models have more restrictions around real people, even if it's you. Like it won't. So
Right.
you're correct in that. Sometimes it won't do it as well, or even at all. Sometimes it gets restricted entirely. But that's no, that I love that concept. And what you know, already it's a huge leap to say you're going to go write something, you're going to go publish that thing, you're going to put it out in the world. What made you think, okay, I'm going to now start to make films out of my books? Like that's next level. What got you into this whole notion? Because also I know that you've been making films before AI about your stories. This is you're a pre AI filmmaker.
Yes, yes. Because before I got into the AI filmmaking stuff with Creatorwood, I made a live action short film of You Fight Like a Girl, a volume one specifically, because the story's too big for a 9-minute film. And
Yeah, yeah,
even in volume one, we just barely scratched the surface, and that was an interesting little journey too. So AI was not even in my mind at the time, not
yeah.
at all, right? And I acted in it too, which was really cool. I like to act as well. Yeah, writer, actor, director. That's me. No, I'm playing.
No, you but for real though, for real.
Yeah, thank you. And so I had to get actors, right? I started with Facebook, and I got the guy who played Angel, this guy right here, and he
Right.
was really cool. And he's gay in real life, and he loved the idea of a gay man, fighting and standing up for himself. And there was another queer guy who also loved it, and he ironically plays the bully. Okay. And then there was, I got like 9 people involved. So I had to get like a bunch of people, and I kind of did everything you're not supposed to do with a short film, technically. Get too many people, make it over 3 minutes, blah blah blah, and I did the opposite of all that, but it worked out. You know, doing things though, like the actors were cool, they were great, and I would love to work with them again, and they said they would love to work with me again, which was awesome. I also now who convinced me to do it was this stunt guy I met on the set of iCarly, the reboot. That's where I met him. So like sometimes I work on actual film sets too, you know? And he convinced me, oh, like your story sounds cool. Let's do a proof of concept trailer. And I was like, what is that? And so he told me it's basically, you kind of show a piece of your world through filmmaking, right? And I was so unconfident in the beginning. I was like, nobody's gonna want to see my thing. But then I was like, nah, let's just see if some actors are interested, then we'll do it. And I was surprised by that a lot of actors were interested. So I was like, yay, you know? So yeah, we filmed it in like this little studio in downtown LA, technically someone's apartment, but that was kind of the best I could do. And the reason why I'm saying this is that I'm going to get into kind of why I started going towards AI filmmaking in a minute, because that was kind of the best I could do. It was if you watch my short film, which you can by joining my email list, you can watch it for free. You'll see that yeah, like it's very obvious we're filming in just one room, but every time I watch it, I'm mostly just focused on like our acting, and the story, which is great. And I can see where I could have improved the next time I do a live action film. But yeah, we had to focus on things like lighting and our lines. And some people didn't even make it that day of shooting, though, which was a little frustrating. However, luckily it was very minor characters. All the major people showed up. The people that mattered show up, you know?
Yeah, it'd be very annoying to miss the MC the one day you need him. It's like, come on, Angel, where are you? Uh, that yeah. So that's first of all, I mean, what an amazing experience when you like just to go out and do that. Like honestly, that's like I feel like I'd have so much fear like asking other people to like show up with me and like people you don't even necessarily know that well. Some of them like it's just like a lot. And when it came to actually like being on set and filming, is this something where like beforehand did you take like film classes in school? Have you like worked on film sets before, or were you just like I'm winging it? Like this is my first time.
I basically winged it. I did not go to film school. I could not really afford that. And I've been on sets before and I've acted before and other things. This
Okay.
was the first time filming my own thing. So I had to wing directing and all that stuff. But thankfully, like everybody, I could tell some people have more experience than me, but they listened to me. You know what I mean? So that was really, really cool. Um, yeah. So, like I said, for my first attempt, I think I did a decent job.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm just impressed. You guys can also go watch the film. We'll link to it down below. Um, and yeah, it's very very well done. And it was something where I was like, wow, okay, Crystal has because when you came into the AI filmmaking world, it was like I was like, oh, okay, what's Crystal's background, and it was really cool to see that. But in the world of AI filmmaking, I'm curious, is there anything from your traditional filmmaking experience with, when I say traditional, like humans, real cameras, real sets, that
Yeah.
has helped you, or is there things that have actually hindered you in the world of AI? Like, how is that gone? Because you're technically, you're still maybe not acting, but you're definitely directing, and you still have a set, except it's all AI. So, what skills did you learn that have been useful, and what did you learn that has been not as useful?
It's kind of a whole different world, you know, because I'm like technically by myself, but I also have this machine helping me because so for the movie machine, especially early on, there wasn't a chatbot at the time, so I used ChatGPT to help me with even though it kind of had to guess how to like help me use the movie machine a bit. But as far as directing goes, I knew it was just different. It's kinda hard to explain. It's like I didn't have to, like, tell people what to do. I had to learn how to prompt, basically. And then as far as direction and camera work, so with the camera guy, I just told him, "Hey, stand here, and then I want you to hold it like this." That was kind of all I had to tell the camera person. But with the movie machine, it gives you so many settings and stuff. And I know they just kind of recently added this zoom in, zoom out, dolly tracking, which I think is great, by the way. So this way, I don't have to rely on just the prompt, which is awesome. And so it's like I kind of had to learn certain more phrases because I didn't have a camera guy to rely on, right? Something like that. And then me as a director, I have to come up with everything. And instead of like finding us a location, I have to like create a location. I have to like really
Yeah.
imagine what this has to look like because it's like, okay, what can I use that like works for this scene and and that scene, and I got to save them here, and so it's a lot more technical than live action filmmaking, to be honest with you. And I never saw myself as a technical person. Like when I first started with the movie machine, I needed help. Like I used your VIP program to create the trailer for a man's fight because I could not figure out how to do it by myself at first. So it took months for me to really figure out how to film with AI. It's not as push button as people think it is. Yes, you can make like an 8-second clip. Anybody can do that. But to make an actual film that is consistent, everybody looks the same, everybody sounds the same, and the location's got to be the same, and everything has to be narratively work too. Like you should know storytelling. AI can expose whether or not you know what you're doing. Like for example, like I had to make sure that I had the beginning, middle, and end. Like for the short film for a man's fight, it's only the first 3 chapters, right?
Yeah.
And for You Fight Like a Girl for the live action one, the similarities were which chapters of the novel should I film right now? Which of them
Yes.
are the most cinematic? Because I had to really think about it. Like originally I thought, okay, maybe chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter this, but then I was like, wait a second. There's some that don't need to be filmed. And I understand now what they mean with books, like you have to make changes because then you really put your director's hat on and then you realize, yeah, like this scene could be cut. Yeah, it's just a scene where they're sitting down eating food or something. Like that does not, who cares about that? Let's instead change it with the scene where they're talking more about their feelings with each other. You know what I mean? Or show a fight. Let's show fighting already. By the way, I did my own fight scenes, by the way. We did the fight scenes and You Fight Like a Girl. That was really cool. That was my first
Yeah,
time doing
yeah.
like basically stunt work, technically. So that was cool. And with fighting with AI, that's another thing. So the fighting
Yeah.
stuff with AI has gotten a lot better, which I'm really happy with because I remember you showing me, trying to show me how to do it. Remember the character Patrick? He was getting beat
Oh,
up. I don't
when
know if
it
you remember
first
this.
yeah, I do. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. He only got punched once, and plus he looked like he was spazzing me out a little bit. Like at the time it wasn't that great. And it was but in less than a year, you guys made it so much better. Like, oh my god, like now they can move and talk almost like normal. I'm not kidding. I forget I'm watching AI sometimes when I'm watching my film. I watch my own film like 20 times. I'm not even kidding. Like it was like when I first finished it, I watched it like maybe 5 times a day, and it was so awesome. But yeah, the experiences, they're similar-ish, but also pretty different too. Like I said, I really had to get out of my comfort zone, to figure out this new level of filmmaking. So you do have to become a little technical with it, or semi a lot technical in a way. And editing the film. So for my live action film, I had one of the actors edit it for me. Thank God, he was
Oh, cool.
amazing.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. And but for this, I had to edit it myself. Because it's like he's too busy and stuff, and I don't know if he can like editing AI in live action. I guess technically that's the same thing. But like I kind of had to rely on myself a lot. That was the thing. With live action, I have people helping me. With AI, you're kind of by yourself. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because back to live action filmmaking really quick, you have to rely on so many pieces with other people. Like I said, some people bailed on me. That sucked. I had to find a location and in LA it's really expensive to film. I'm like in the land of dreams here with Hollywood and everything. It's like down the street. Well, not down the street for me, but it's super close. I've lived here all my
Mm.
life. I'm in a heavy filmmaking culture. We invented movies, not playing. You know
I
what I'm
mean, low
saying?
key though, yeah. I mean, definitely movie culture comes from LA. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yes. Absolutely. And it's really cool and awesome and it's very motivating for me too, to be making the films more. And I feel like having at least a little bit of live action background helps you into this AI stuff too, because it shows you how to make it look human, which I know is a big concern for people. Well, I don't know if it looks human, Crystal. It does now. You guys got a lot better with the animation, the sound, everything. And then again, like I said, when you have at least some experience in directing, it helps a lot. But even if someone doesn't have the experience in live action, I still think they can do a decent job if they just go straight into the AI stuff.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the concerns around looking human or not, and it's extremely valid because it's gotten a lot better. It's not fully there yet, even in how they sound. But zooming out a bit, when you talk with your other creative friends, your friends who are actors, your friends who are fellow writers, and just kind of think generally about how people think about AI filmmaking.
Mhm.
Are you concerned about how viewers and how other people will view you for making AI films?
Oh yeah, of course I've thought about that totally. Um, so my friends have been mostly supportive. There is one friend, she really hates AI. You know, she really hates it. She and I haven't talked about it yet, and it's like I avoid talking about it. You know,
It's
because
like
it's
politics.
like
Like, we're not going there. It's
we're not
religion,
going
politics.
there.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not. She's making her own live action film with her novel too,
Oh,
and
cool.
she was even upset that the studio that's helping her making it, I think, used a little AI logo in the beginning, and she was pissed. And I was like, dude, it's just a little logo. Calm down. I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. And I'm like, look, in the beginning, I wasn't a huge fan of AI either. I'll be honest. Okay. But I didn't hate it like some people do right now. Okay. The main thing that bothered me was the thought of getting replaced. That was the main thing. Um, but I had the idea of I'll fight fire with fire. You're gonna replace me with AI, I'll replace you with AI. No, I'm playing. But that's it's not about replacing
I love it.
anything. AI genuinely helps you to get your stuff done. It does. Because here's the thing, like I have a pilot script too for You Fight Like a Girl, right?
Yeah,
And I've had producers be interested in it, but nothing's happened. And it sucks. And it's like I don't want to wait on Hollywood anymore. I'm not giving up on them, but I don't want to wait anymore if I don't have to. Because you're
yeah,
basically asking permission from someone else. And who wants to do that? The internet helped a lot. Like you can make your own little show on the internet now, which is great. But if you want
yeah,
Hollywood level quality, unless you're independently rich and have your own resources, like you can call up actors whenever you want and all that stuff, which would be awesome. It's impossible right now. Like I said, unless you're rich and connected. If you're not, if you're like me, who's like kind of broke, you know, AI
yeah,
is really helpful. And it's not cheap-ish. I mean, it's like it's definitely cheaper than trying to make it a whole Hollywood film. Like for A Man's Fight, as I was watching it, I was looking at like the sets and the locations, costumes. I already knew that if I try this in live action, which I do plan on making it live action one of these days,
yeah,
it would still cost a lot. It would still be minimum thousands, maybe in the
yeah,
tens of thousands if I wanted it to look close to what I
yeah.
did with the AI.
And that's doing it on a shoes, that's being creative, which you always need to be, but that's being very creative in terms of, cutting deals with different locations and having, no obviously no A-list actors. Not that we love our A-list actors, except we can't afford them. But uh,
Mhm,
you know, it reminds me a lot, just hearing what you're saying. It reminds me a lot of how when we think of like the beauty of this all is that there's so much more room for creation that it's just adding net new things that we can create. And you're right, AI is definitely not super affordable yet. I think it's more accessible to traditional film. I also do know it's tough to say how much pricing is going to come down in the next year or two because
mhm.
there's a lot of different factors. But over the long arc of, let's say, the next 5 years, like, pricing will come down, quality will go up, and it will also get faster because it's a little slow. It's that's one of the annoying parts of it. And
Mhm,
one of the things that I really find fascinating is that, you know, what you're describing, this, like, production cost barrier. The reason with YouTube that hasn't really been a thing is because it's mostly been, for the most part, unscripted content, like reality content. It might be scripted, but it's not like
mhm,
scripted fictional worlds and shows. Like even
mhm.
Mr. Beast, who's the highest, they're so much money they're spending. They spend on average. I don't even know if I can share the exact number, but it's in the millions per video that they're spending. Like actually, for one YouTube video. So
Jesus.
uh, and a lot of the top creators, there's definitely been a sort of idea that more money equals better video. That's not true.
Hmm.
Not true at all. I think we're seeing that right now with, like, Backrooms, right? And, um, all these films that are taking off, especially, like, in the indie horror space. Indie, these are big films, but still, like, indie in the sense that, like, they're not, by Disney, they're not by Paramount, and they are not on, $100 million budgets. They're much, much smaller than that. And I think what you see oftentimes is that you do need a minimum budget to get the story out there.
Mhm.
You do, but once you cross that threshold, it really is all about the story and about having something that people really want and getting creative with it. And I think that um, money actually sometimes allows you to not be creative. And what I'd even say
Hmm.
is just as a note for anyone, whether you're using AI or not, is that money sometimes works against you. And when I was at Mr. Beast, one of my criticisms of Mr. Beast, which I did love working there, and I think it's a great company, but
Hmm.
I think when you have that crazy budget to spend per video, you sort of start to go, how do we spend it versus, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Versus how to make a great video, it becomes what can we
Mm,
do with this budget, right? That's a very different
mm,
question. How do we make a great entertaining video versus what do we do with this budget? And I thought a
hmm.
lot of the things they did with that budget because it's actually like you have to spend that kind of money in a video, like, it takes effort. Like, you don't just wake up and magically spend $1,000,000. You have to either give a ton away or build these huge sets,
Mm,
or go on these extravagant adventures, and then what you have to ask yourself is, does that make it a good story? Does that entertain the audience? And what I honestly thought was the more money they spent didn't necessarily mean it was gonna be a better video. And I thought that, like, money was important to hire good editors. It was definitely important to hire good camera people because, I mean, they're an in-person production. There were key
yeah.
roles that were important, but $1,000,000 per video to pay an editor and a camera person and a producer is a lot, slash unrealistic. You don't need that kind of money. So all the
Mhm,
money really ends up going into other things that aren't as important. So I think there's another thing too, just about um, money in general that I think Hollywood and there's this culture around like, well, we need the stars, the explosions, the crazy cinematic shots, the drone tracking shot. And look, with AI, you can do a lot of these things cheaper. There's no doubt
mhm,
about it.
mhm,
And the answer becomes, did that even matter to begin with? Like,
mm,
and I honestly, my answer is oftentimes, I don't think it does. I think it's almost like, you kind of spend it because you can, and then you create a culture of spending because you can, and it's kind of like
mm.
using the privilege you have because you have it, but it's not like there's nothing inherently good about it. Like, it's like, is it doing any justice for the world? So it's interesting because I think sometimes, like, um it's kind of beautiful to see technology just enable people to try new things because it's like that shot that you thought was $100,000 cost the same as two people in the room talking. That's the thing about AI. There's not that much of a cost difference with the type of shot, and then I think it kind of takes the allure away from it because it's like, well, is this shot the right shot for right now? Versus like, do we have budget for the VFX shot? It's like, well, no. The VFX shot in AI costs the same amount as two people talking like this, legitimately. So, like, what actually matters now, what I'd love to learn, Crystal, is during your creation process, because I was there and I heard the team helping you a lot. Because, and to be clear, this is not because um, Crystal's, I think, way better with technology than she's giving herself credit for. Generally, when Crystal started on this platform, it was very hard to use. It was early days, and there was lots of bugs, there was lots of issues, and I won't sit here
Mm.
and say it's perfect now, but it's definitely improved a bit, and that's very helpful. But in the early days, there were a lot of roadblocks you were getting over, and I think what's interesting about it is it gives you this mindset because I would wager, even as the technology improves, there's always going to be things that don't go the way you want. And my question to you, Crystal, is when things in the past haven't gone the way you've wanted, which has certainly happened when that shot doesn't come out, the audio, there's so many things that can go wrong. When something goes wrong, how do you approach adapting to that? Because that's often a panic moment.
Oh, yeah, kind of similar to what I still do today. I asked for your guys' help, and you guys are very hands-on, which is awesome. I use ChatGPT to help me, and the more I worked on it, the more I learned. I would take breaks here and there for like a couple months because it was a little overwhelming, to be honest. But I'm really glad I stuck with it because guess what? Now that I learned how to do it, I can't stop. Once you learn how to do this, it becomes addicting. So for anybody who is in my position, I've been trying it, but I can't do it, you will. You will keep doing it because, like I said, I can't stop now. Like, people think AI screws up your creativity, and I'm like, I don't know where the hell you got that idea from because that's not true. If anything, it enhanced my creativity because now there's it's also there's no more mental blockage anymore. Like, it's not just about gatekeeping in general, it's also about mental blockage because it's like, well, I don't have the money. I'm not even going to think about how I would film this. You know what I mean? Now I can. Now I can because it's like I can now, if I want to show people the scene as closest as to it looks like in my head, I can just go on and this AI platform and make it happen. You know, even if it's just a 1 minute scene, I can do it now. You know?
Yeah, it's like that's actually so beautiful, and it's one of the first times I've heard it that articulated around AI filmmaking, and you're kind of like I'm, like, having an explosion of thoughts because it's like, yeah, like, you're literally it's like expanding your imagination. It's like, "Wait, this could be more," and yeah, you're right, I'm even trying to think back, like, when I was writing my first books, like, it was true that, like, the idea of a movie was so, like, fantasy, like, it was, like, literally a fantasy that,
Mhm.
I would remember writing these scenes where you're like, "Oh, this would be really cool if it was filmed," but it would be, like, the end of the thought, and,
Mhm.
oh, that's so exciting that, like yeah, that it's not the end of the thought anymore, and how is that gonna
Yes.
change even what we write?
Yes. And now because now I'm thinking like exactly. That's exactly what I'm telling you. It's like now I'm thinking a more cinematic scope. And there's probably people who think like, well, Crystal, we use our imaginations all the time. And of course, I think about it as big as I can when I'm writing. Yeah, I understand that. But think about when a novel becomes a Hollywood movie. Okay. Like
Yeah,
they can think of it in a much grander scale because now they have the money, now they have the resources and everything. You don't right now. So are you truly thinking about it in a cinematic way? Because I realized I kind of sort of was and I sort of wasn't. Like even before the AI thing, of course I would imagine it in my head as a movie, but now that I can actually test drive the scene, that's the thing. You can test drive it. How would it look if I wrote it from the book and put it in the movie machine? How's it going to look? How can I realistically make it look? Because I'm not telling anybody to give up on live action filmmaking. You could show a producer, this is how I imagine the scene going, literally, as like a little mini AI film and
yeah,
let's see if we can top it in live action. Let's see, and you could show it to them because these days your script isn't really enough anymore.
yeah,
That's why I did my proof of concept trailer slash short film for You Fight Like a Girl, right? So I could
yeah,
show them what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, because a lot of people don't want to read a 60-page script. It doesn't matter how good it is. Reading 60 pages can be like, you know what I mean? So it's like here's a 1 minute little clip or even a 9 minute film, like less than 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
absolutely, I mean, that's the magic of a proof of concept because the script too is an abstraction, it's like, you still have to go do the storyboard and get the shot list, and then you can get that film. And a good script doesn't necessarily translate to a good storyboard. Now, a great director oftentimes can make a good script into a great storyboard, but that requires a lot of collaboration. That requires
Hmm.
ultimately a vision that is compatible. And it brings me back to the book, the novels, the stories you write, and that many of us write. And it is true that one of the hardest parts of the process in AI filmmaking is simply the adaptation. Because the movie machine will give you back a shot list, but it doesn't mean it's the one you want. And as you mentioned already, what scenes do you want to film? So I'm curious to dive a little bit deeper into there. When you were adapting a man's fight in particular,
Hmm.
how did you think through that? What scenes did you end up changing the most? What scenes did you not film at all? And why?
Yeah. So, like for example, before I even made the full vertical film, I managed to make like a 2.5 minute pilot episode, and that was
Yeah.
just the prologue. Wounded, and that's when Patrick gets beaten up by this guy in a berserker mask, right? So I was like, okay, I got to film him getting beat up a little bit, So thankfully, it got a lot better with hitting him, but also like the emotions and stuff. There's like a part where Patrick's dead father shows up and everything. And I was thinking, how am I gonna do this? Like there was that little worry, you know what I mean? But as I was going through the movie machine, I was like, okay, I was worried I'd have to cut out Patrick getting beat up a bit. It's not like a whole crazy barrage, but there's a few hits. There's Patrick on the ground, there's him bleeding. There's this big scary guy in a fuzzy monster mask with fangs. I was like, "Oh, please God, let me let me film this part, please." And thankfully it did it. And then it was, the part with Patrick's dad sort of not being like a ghost, but the way it was filmed was actually really cool. He's like shaded. You can tell he's not of this world and it's not crazy effects or anything. You know what I mean? And then there was the dialogue. I was like, I really want to make these characters talk. And thankfully, the audio's gotten so much better. And I even voice acted some of the parts, which is really
Yeah.
cool, very fun. I voice acted a few lines. The movie machine has gotten a lot better with inflections and stuff. But sometimes when it doesn't do it, I'm like, okay, let me do it because I know exactly how I want this to sound. And so that's really fun too. Like if you're a voice actor, you can voice act all the characters if you want. Go ahead. So that can be a lot of fun. And well, speaking of that, really quick, it's like people are worried that AI is going to take the humanity out of it. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. Like I said, you can voice act it yourself. But honestly, even if you don't do that, just your writing and the story itself, like you can tell this is a very human story. It's about this young man who's lonely. He doesn't feel like he has anyone. He gets beat up, randomly for who he is. And, his father's dead. He doesn't have like a this role model to protect him anymore. That's a lot of human characteristics here that happen in the story. So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And when I'm watching other people's stuff too, I'm like, same thing. It's exactly the same as watching a live action movie or a cartoon movie, you know?
Yeah.
And as I was going through it, I'm like, I'm preserving the humanity and I don't even have to think about it. Like, it's not hard to put humanity in your AI film. Even if you're using AI to write your novels for you, it's not hard. I don't know what people are talking about, especially if
It,
you've written things yourself before. It's actually kind of easy. You know what I mean?
it's also necessary too, because you can just push buttons and give you, take what AI gives you verbatim. But as you mentioned, like there's gonna be moments where like the inflection doesn't sound right. And it's up to you to then go and change that and decide what is the right inflection. It's up to you to go and decide what shots do I want to film to begin with? How do I want these shots to look at all? So I think a
Hmm.
lot of folks, and we've actually had on the platform, which if you're listening and this was your first impression of it, I understand because it's like a whole new thing and it's like, what's going on? But we've had a few folks who upload their book to the platform. They're like, I don't understand. This is a scam. I don't see my movie. And it's like, yeah, it's like, wait, it's a lot of work, like, a lot like, actually, like, genuinely, like, a lot of work, and more even than I would have
Yeah.
imagined going into this, and most people than they imagine, and now I think we're much more forward with people because we know. It was never push button, but now we really understand, like, this is a process where it will take you to make a movie at least several hundred hours, if not over 1,000 hours of work, which, I mean, when you put it into perspective is pretty remarkable because that's like achievable. That's not like 30,000 hours, like a decade of work. It's something that someone can do in a time amount of time that is not unreasonable, but it's
Hmm.
a real craft. And I think you know just seeing. I mean, I've of course worked with it myself, but seeing so many people work with it up close and the heart and the blood and the sweat and the tears that goes into this. um, it's a I don't think that creation the value of creation has to be in how hard someone works for it. There's the classic, the songwriter who takes 3 years to write a hit song and the songwriter who takes 15 minutes to write a hit song, right? Because the 15 minutes make it any less valuable than the 3 years. It doesn't. It's still meaningful. At the same
Yeah.
time though, no one's making an AI movie in 15 minutes. That's not possible.
No, not a full 2 hour length thing. Absolutely not. That's
Yeah.
I'm like I've done it myself. It's like I saw the difference from live action. I've actually made my live action film quicker than
Yeah.
a man's fight. I actually made that quicker, believe it or not. Once I got all the pieces in place, mind you, I'm talking about actual filming of the day. I'm not talking about getting the actors, getting the location,
Yeah.
making sure the script. I'm not talking about all that. That took more time. That took a month. That took a month for me to do. The actual filming took a lot quicker because I think it's because with humans, you tell them what to do and they'll do it. With AI, you kind of have to like da 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 da. You know what I mean? But
But it
that's
also
okay.
takes time too, because you with a human, you go take one, you get the footage right there, you see how it went. With AI, right now, it's often 10 to 15 minutes to get that video back. So you're in this loop, and it is tough, even for someone who's okay, I'm gonna work on my next shot, to then have to go back to that previous shot and think about it again. It's a lot of mental load.
Yeah, so this is kind of the polarizing thing I just realized now. It's quicker to film something live in real time with humans, whereas filming the actual footage with AI can take a little longer because it's like, okay, you can get, like I said, that 8-second clip pretty fast. But to make like the whole 9 minutes, it's like the whole 9 minutes we shot in like 5 hours. Okay. Of the finished 9 minutes of film for You File Like a Girl.
Yeah, you
Um,
won't film that
yeah.
in 9 hours of AI right now. There's no
No,
way. There's
not right
no
now,
way.
no. But so it's like I know some people might be like, well, then what's the point? Well, the point is, like I said, remember I said it took me a month to get all the actors, to get all the to get the sets, to get the script done, to get all that stuff, other stuff done. And like I said, like you might be worried about actors not showing up. That's another thing. Or what if the studio is like, oh, we have an emergency, you guys can't film today. What about that? So it's like other things that you have to account for. Now, I'm not saying there's no, like, there could be technical stuff with AI going on too. Like, I've had it where I had to delay some of my filming with AI because of internet connection or because it was just acting wonky for a little bit. So there's always going to be issues no matter what. Okay. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to argue what's easier necessarily. Technically speaking, AI is a little easier in terms of how Hollywood quality looking do you want it to be? Because like I said, unless you have the money, your indie film is not going to look as, I'm just being real, it's not going to look as Hollywood level quality unless you have the money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even I was talking to someone recently who was at Rain Dance, and they were telling me that their film was on a small budget of $2 million, and this wasn't like a pretentious thing to say. That was just a smaller budget where they had to make a lot of creative compromises on a small budget of
Mm.
$2 million, which, to be clear, you can film great indie films for much less than that. But it's also, there's, I was pretty shocked. It was a sci fi film. So for a sci fi film, yeah, I mean, that is lower budget, like, which is pretty wild, but it is. It's so
Hmm.
interesting. My last question for you, Crystal, is around what are the big things you've learned about AI filmmaking, about using the movie machine that you wish you could tell the Crystal of 6 or 7 months ago?
Well, it's gonna get better. So, there's that. And also it'll be easier too. So better and easier because at first the quality wasn't that great with the video and the audio and all that. But it also got easier in the sense of even if you weren't a super technical person, you can learn it, you know? And I think that's a great thing because kind of briefly going back to that hard work thing, there's also the skill thing where people think AI is taking away skills. No, it's not. It's actually gave me some skills. It's gave me some editing skills. It's gave me like some more filmmaking skills too. Like I think I can apply some of this to the next time I do a live action film as well. And like they're very interchangeable. Like I've noticed lots of people in the film industry are getting into AI filmmaking. Because like I said, there's way more pros to cons than it. So I guess I would tell her like, like again, it's going to get easier. Just stick with it. Keep asking for help. Sometimes I was a little ashamed to ask every 5 minutes, like, hey, what's going on? I'm not sure what I'm doing, but it helps. You guys are very helpful, which is awesome.
Well, I mean, we're all learning together, which is kind of the fun part. And what I want to do now is like one last segment to end it off is actually look at the first few minutes of A Man's Fight, episode one, which it's super awesome, season one here. And what I would love to do is watch the first few minutes together, and then you could do a little director's commentary on yourself. It would be cool for you to watch
Mhm.
it back and be like, what would you do differently now? What was fun about this? What was challenging? So we'll dive in here
Okay.
and watch. So
I am the Chingona author, and I am going to tell you a little story today. I open the gates to the underground. Welcome to a man's fight.
A real man, huh? Guess that's not me. And this is a man's fight. No rules, no lies. Where you lose yourself just to survive the night. This is a man's fight. No rules, no light. Where you lose yourself just to survive the night. This is a man's fight. Step inside where the truth cuts deep and the lies don't hide. You want control, you want the crown, then bleed for it. Don't back down. This is a man's fight, and it's dragging me down. You still alive, bitch?
Okay, so really quick, if you could pause real quick. All right, so I think I hope I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think the beginning is pretty cool.
it was sick. It was a really cool sequence. Very cool.
No, thanks, because originally, so here's the thing. So this first part right here is similar to the first episode. Like on Creatorwood separately, you can see the prologue episode from the book is its own separate little episode, right? It's like 2.5 minutes. And so for here, like, well, that was me in the beginning, like real live action me. I just thought that would be kind of neat to do. I like put face paint on myself. I was just trying to make myself look like a whole character. So there was that. And I thought that would like surprise people a little bit. Like, well, wait a minute, who the hell is this? Is it a real person? What's going on? And I wanted it to be short so we could get right into it. And then here, so the black and white part with Patrick, I really got into this whole Sin City Noir comic thing. I just thought it'd be like a cool transition. Like sometimes those movies where they transition from comic to live action, especially with these superhero movies. And because my main character, Patrick, he likes comics, that's one of his things. So I was like, I thought that would be appropriate. And I liked it from going black and white to color. You know what I mean? I just thought it was like a cool transition type of thing. And making him talk, like the comic being in motion, that was not from the movie machine. It was from Gemini, but the audio is from the movie machine. And of course, the rest of this is from the movie machine. So I, kind of had to mix and match some tools to make it work. And I cut out the audio Gemini did. It was terrible. I didn't like the voice for Patrick. You guys have gotten so much better with voices. So I made sure to just, put it under the track and the editing and all that stuff. And thankfully, the mouth movements matched. So that was awesome. And then here, where he's getting beat up by the berserker, I really liked how it turned out. If you could play it.
This is for trying to take what's mine! I knew you weren't a real man. A real man, huh? Guess that's not me.
You don't have to be big. You just have to be strong.
But I'm neither. Dad.
So I love the music
Mhm.
in both those sequences. The ominous one, obviously, as Patrick's having a not so fun moment, getting beaten up,
Mhm.
and then that transition sequence in the car. It's not exactly upbeat, but it's you're seeing
Mhm.
um, the emotion there of okay, well, he's trying to bring himself back together, and I thought that was great. The acting is great. Yeah, I mean, it's a
Mhm.
really cool sequence. Now, the music yourself, I know now we have music more inside the movie machine. I'm guessing you went to Suno for that, or did you do something else?
So, okay, so for like that song in the beginning where it said this is a man's fight, so that I made in something else. It was not made with the movie machine. It was at the time it was called Galaxy AI. Now it's called Magica, and they're still
Interesting.
around. And
Okay.
yes, they can help you make music. But I did use Suno eventually. It was more for later though, not for this part, because
Interesting.
I exactly, yes. And
Yeah.
that track with the in the car, that was from CapCut. That was one of the sounds in CapCut. So yeah, and
Oh,
and I'm
cool. Okay.
yeah, and I'm definitely using AI for the music, so I don't have to worry about copyright anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're doing any of the free libraries, like Epidemic Sound has that too. It can't hurt. Um, that yeah, it's amazing how good though AI music's gotten. It's quite good,
Oh
and
yeah.
so customizable, which is amazing. Now, with editing, um, where are you editing and how did you learn to edit? Because honestly, that's one of the it's what's clear. You've gotten really good at it. And it's one of the hard
Mhm.
skills because when you just take the raw output from AI filmmaking, it's good. But if you don't edit it, it's not going to be a great film. But when you edit it, all of a sudden, it's pretty darn good. How did you learn editing and where do you edit today?
Well, I mean, like it kind of reminds me of when my editor helped me with the live action film too. It's like same deal. Like raw footage is only going to sound so good. But yeah, like I kind of like went back to what he was doing because he was like showing me how to do it at the time. And then but here, like I said, like I would just screenshot like what I was doing in CapCut with the and send it to ChatGPT and like, okay, how can I do what I want to do? Like for example, from photorealistic to comic freeze frame, how do I do that? And it was basically telling me, well, you just put the picture here on the track, and you can also do like either a hard cut or you can use an effect, so it could be more of a transition looking thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And it's like because when I was getting the raw footage, I was like, yay, it's doing it. How the hell do I put it all together? That was like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
worried I was going to have to like hire somebody that I couldn't afford to edit everything. And I was like, no, I have to figure that out myself. That's the next beast. Right. And then thankfully, basically that chatbot, ChatGPT, helped me figure that out. And I still use it today. And sometimes, something that's kind of crazy. I don't mean to peddle ChatGPT, but it's kind of doing this thing now where it can edit the footage for you a little bit. So, like for
Yeah.
example, if it like if the character sounds too quiet or something, or it's the audio's muddled, I put it in ChatGPT and since it's so short, these clips, it's easier for it to do, and
Yes, of
it'll do
course.
it. So I might try that. So I might do that more often to save on regeneration a little bit because regenerating is where the real money gets spent, right? And of course, doing it myself too. It's like I've been a mix of me and seeing if it's. I think it's a new feature. I've never seen ChatGPT do that before, and it's probably other AI systems that can do it too. If that's something the movie machine could do, that'd be amazing. Well, I know you guys have this editor. Um, it's just for me, CapCut's a little easier right now, but yeah, that's just kind of how it's been learning how to transition from photorealistic to comic or putting music up. And I also have to make sure that their voices are louder than the music so it doesn't drown out. You're like, wait, what are they saying? That was another thing I had to learn as well.
Yeah, it's important to listen with like headphones when you're editing, and then yeah,
Mm,
the idea with AI being able to edit and do a lot of those edits is certainly something that will come to the movie machine. But you're right, like the large language models inside of Claude and of course ChatGPT are now at the point where they can do a lot of editing and at least help guide you through it, which is amazing. So yeah, we'll definitely be embedding that in the movie machine so that it has the rest of the context to your project. And we're working on making that editor better. And something we're launching soon is
Mm,
a desktop app for Creatorwood, because when actually, and I'm sure you use the desktop app for CapCut, it gets very tough to do all the things you need to do inside of the browser. So that's where a desktop app will be very nice, because it'll just be faster, cleaner, and then we can add a bunch of new features in there that will hopefully make it
mm.
use.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, especially if it was more specific to the movie machine, that would be awesome. Yeah, totally.
Amazing. This was fun. People should watch the rest of The Man's Fight. I'll link to it down below. You can watch it on Creatorwood streaming platform. And also, before you go, you need to let us know where we can find you online. We'll also link it down below. I know you've got a beautiful website. I was checking it out. I was like, dang, Crystal went all in. Um, I believe that's youfightseries.com. Is there anywhere else we can find you and your books online so we can stay in touch?
Yes, I did make like a separate landing page for a man's fight, so that if you're more interested in that story right now, you can go on there. And if you want to, like, right now, I have it where you can pay to watch a man's fight on Creatorwood, but if you want to watch it for free, just go on that landing page, send me your email, and you'll be sent the film to you for free. You know, the whole 19 minutes. And you know, uh yeah, like there's basically that. Like, yeah, youfightseries.com. And I'll give you the link. It's like a man's fight dot youfightseries/extras or something, but I'll give it to you.
Beautiful. It'll all be linked down below, so y'all can find it there. Crystal's straight up one of the most inspiring storytellers, period. You are so kind. You have so much knowledge to share, and I'm so grateful that we got to chat with you today.
No, thank you. I'm very thankful for all your help too. Seriously, like because I'm honestly not sure what I would do without this stuff, because because here's the thing, I still want to do live action stuff. Don't get me wrong. I've always wanted
Yeah.
to do that ever since I was a little girl. But when using AI, I do feel genuine joy working with it. Okay. I'm not using it begrudgingly, like, oh, I'm going to do this until I can finally, do live action only. No, not really. Even when I do get to the point where I can do live action stuff whenever I want, I'll still use AI. Screw it. I still will, because, like, I feel like it's this sort of, it's something I can use where I feel like it'll be the most for me, Because let's say Hollywood does make my stuff a script. There's the other issue of, like, they're going to want to change things. I'm not going to have a lot of control. AI helps give you control 100%. And that's something I absolutely adore.
We need Crystal's version always, even if there's a live action. There'll always be Crystal's version. The studios can't touch it. It's great.
Hmm.
I'm in full agreement, and I think it's always a world of and, not or. You don't have to choose. It's not like, oh my God, you're an AI filmmaker. You can never make a film with humans again. It's like, no,
No,
no. It's a world of and.
world of and, absolutely. Do both. There's nothing wrong with doing, guys, you can do both. Okay. Don't worry about choosing. Jesus, come on.
Yes. Why choose? Why choose? No, this was awesome, Crystal. Um, thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And stay beautiful.
I love it.